As I explained in my previous video, I didn't have a ton of time to go over the specific character moments that I wanted to because, well, I was describing the rest of the season. I already explained in my Origin Trilogy video that when Kara lands on Earth, there is no one there to see her. She's confused, sad, and alone. Even when she's adopted by the Danvers, she just found out her baby cousin, the person she was supposed to protect, is dead. Not only grew up without her, but is also dead. So she's kind of in a shitty mood right now. In the rest of the episode, she kind of deals with that. She kind of becomes more in tune with Earth while dealing with the loss of Cal. She doesn't know he's Clark Kent yet, obviously. In the next two episodes, I once again stated that she feels like she's in Cal's shadow. At this point, she knows who he is. She's smart, so it's obvious she figures it out. In this version, the glasses Kent wears are Kryptonian glass, which hides his identity from everyday people. It's something straight out of the comics, you can look it up. Since she's also Kryptonian, she can also see through the charade and figure out that Cal is Clark Kent. Anyway, she has started learning more about Clark Kent's life. She already knows how amazing Superman is, how he saved so many people, stopped so many threats, was part of the Justice League, and whatnot. Despite him passing on, people still revere, love, remember him with compassion, and what have you. Then on top of that, Kent was a star reporter, having a relationship with Lois Lane, another star reporter, and someone who's extremely attractive. He went undercover and reported on all sorts of things that got the scum of the earth arrested and put in prison, like mob bosses and gangs and whatnot. So not only did he do great things as Superman, but he did amazing things as Clark Kent. Linda doesn't have the full story because nobody really knew him personally, and the only ones that would probably know him are dead. Ma and Pa Kent. Nobody is there to tell her the struggles he had to go through every day, the people he couldn't save, the threats he couldn't stop. We as the audience know he wasn't perfect because even Superman makes mistakes, but I think adding the fact that he's dead puts a certain type of sheen around him where people only remember the great parts about Superman and Clark Kent. I mean, we do that all the time. When a favorite celebrity dies, we only remember how amazing he or she was and that sort of thing. Like how David Bowie or Prince died, everyone remembered how great he was, even with the people that weren't his fans. That type of thing. Through just 7 years of her life on Earth, she has gotten bombarded with admiration for her more famous cousin. Do you realize what that kind of does to a person? She has felt inferior her whole life because of Superman. Despite putting a smile on and getting through it, she's never felt truly happy in a long time. This was touched on in the original pilot, but quickly forgotten because depth, what's that? When she starts doing good and despite showing herself to the world, she actually feels better about herself. Throughout the season, she'll slowly learn that Superman is dead. She can't live up to him, but what she can do is become her own hero and be the best she can possibly be. Be part of his legacy and respect what he did, but be her own hero. That will be her arc for pretty much the rest of the show I have in mind. She'll go through the ups and downs of being a hero. After the origin episodes, there are the quote unquote Beast of the Week episodes, where they are simple episodes where Supergirl learns how to fight and outsmart villains. Plus, there'll be fun little adventures before the real villain enters the picture. But they won't be boring and empty. They'll still have some character development and Supergirl gaining experience. One of the things I hate about the TV show, especially during season 2, was Supergirl's personality and attitude. She always acted like she was better than everyone else, and had this holier than thou persona about her, especially when Mon-El entered the picture. She had a major god complex about her and always acted like she knew everything because she had the moral high ground. It's like, calm the fuck down, Obi-Wan. You've been doing this for a fucking year. Get off your skyscraper tall high horse. Jesus. But worst of all, the writers treated her like she was in the right, which pissed me off to the nth degree. It didn't help that she bested Superman in a fight, which was simply a plot convenience so that she could go fight the Daxamites because she's the quote-unquote new champion of Earth, which was fucking bullshit and literally made no sense. She can go and fight the Daxamites because, I don't know, she knows the looming threat more and is fucking one of them, but that would make too much sense. Look, in terms of power though, the reason that the, say, New 52 version of Supergirl was stronger than Superman was because while she was in hypersleep, she was continually revolving around the sun, supercharging her cells with yellow sun radiation. That was the reason why she was probably more powerful than him. Since everyone is using New 52 as a reference, I assume the writers did the same, hence why I'm explaining it now. But since most of them are complete dumbasses who probably never read a fucking comic in their entire fucking life, they made Supergirl more powerful than Superman because reasons and shitty writing. Why am I complaining about this? Well, this just fed into my argument against season 2 because of how Supergirl gets to next to no development as a character. As much as I do really like season 1 despite its problems, one of those problems was that she didn't develop much. She did a little bit, but not as much as I wanted to see. Season 2 was dry, and she pretty much got none. Season 3 developed her character a bunch, but it was pretty much thrown aside in the last episode. Learning that your actions have consequences and not everything you do is black and white as you thought, and that your moral compass shouldn't fuel your massive ego that makes Edward Norton and Quentin Tarantino seem humble? What's that? I'm just gonna time travel because that magically solves all your problems, but despite having a friend that has mentioned numerous times that time travel never solves your problems and only makes things happen for the worse. But that can't happen to good old Supergirl, right? Whoops. While yes, it was the black kryptonite that caused Red Daughter, it was still bullshit. As well as the fact it still bothers me that in the Invasion crossover, Barry explicitly explained that he fucked up time and nobody should do that ever, yet she goes and does it anyway. Like, what? Sorry for the rant, but my whole point about said rant is pretty much Supergirl got no development until season 3, for the most part. In fact, there was a great scene where Lena Luthor called Supergirl out on her god complex, which made me nearly cry tears of joy. They do touch on this in season 4, which I appreciated. They still never fleshed it out like they should have. I feel like the writers knew they fucked up but decided not to actually make it an arc and talk about it. Just mention it and hopefully the complaints would go away. Anyway, with my version of Supergirl, where despite fun episodes where we don't have a main villain yet, she will still develop as a character and learn and has a want to learn. Another reason why I wanted her in college. In the scenes where she is in school, she is excited to learn more about Earth, our different cultures, societies, and customs and whatnot, which will translate to her wanting to learn more about being a hero, so that maybe she can get out of Superman's shadow and be her own hero. So for the Beast of the Week episodes, she's learning about becoming a hero and how she can be better. Then there will be a smaller episode with Supergirl dealing with the people that love her and the people that hate her and what that means for the present and the future. And if Supergirl can change because of that. Then in the Live Wire episode, she'll deal with people ganging up on her after they think she beats up an innocent woman. This will continue in the coming episodes, like the Silver Banshee episode. The Spider Lady episode will be a filler episode, and yes, it will deal with the simplistic and common fear of spiders. Lots of her fears about being in Superman's shadow will come out of the woodwork, doubting if she could be a real hero. Maybe not as exaggerated as that, but still, filler episodes, despite being filler, you could still learn about your main characters, like Tales of Ba Sing Se style. Filler episodes don't have to be eye-rolling, you can still learn about your characters through these episodes. Maybe have some time with Jimmy and Winn and know more about them and their relationship with Linda. Next episode will be Atomic Skull, and new characters are introduced like Maggie Sawyer. But she won't be at the forefront, just come up from time to time. Maybe have Sawyer doubt Supergirl like she kinda did in the original show, but putting aside differences to help Metropolis, kinda like in the episode where Alex got kidnapped. Then the Parasite episode will deal with Supergirl being powerless for the first time in her life on Earth. Maybe there could be flashbacks to her time on Krypton where she didn't have a lot of power, in a metaphorical sense, with being a kid. Then we are introduced to Martian Manhunter. In the coming episodes, he will help her in terms of fighting and controlling her powers. Then we have the Flash crossover. Here, Barry is a bit more of a mentor to Linda. He's a bit older, but he doesn't know a lot like he does now, so it's kind of a weird time for Barry. He has to kind of instruct her how to fight and help her, but he doesn't have everything figured out himself. Then you have the villain of Vacox. I know, dumb name, but again, he's a super obscure character. With this guy, he is not only a Kryptonian, but he escaped the Phantom Zone as well. So Linda will have to deal with that, as well as realizing Martian Manhunter is a bit more brutal than he let on. The Justice League is name dropped, and Martian Manhunter explains his brutality. They then go to the Fortress of Solitude, which Jimmy probably told them about. They find the Phantom Zone projector and use that. However, I forgot to mention this before. When they are leaving, we see something on, like, maybe a control panel, and it's a note that says, "For Kara," which will be shown next season. They defeat the villain and Flash goes home. Next two episodes will be Maxwell lore destroying Linda's life, a la Born Again. Don't really know if there's a DC equivalent to that, though, but I thought that would be interesting for Linda, dealing with the public's hatred of her life crumbling around her, and being broken. Nothing in her life is okay. She has a near-death experience where she gets a nightmare where Superman is telling her she's not good enough or something like that. Then it will be all the better where she is like a phoenix that rises from the ashes, and despite everything taken from her, she will have to save the day from Maxwell Lord. We have her kind of dealing with that in the episode following the episodes of Lord destroying her life. Then we have the final two episodes where she is figuring out everything, and everything she has learned from the people around her will come into play in this episode. Then she'll save the day from the major threat and have her first somewhat big victory. Even though she didn't get Lord this time, she still saved the city from the Supergirl Revenge Squad. Again, there's a small basis in comics with that, although it's the Superman Revenge Squad, not the Supergirl Revenge Squad. Anyway, last but not least is something I didn't touch upon before, but her suit. I just like to say I never liked the suit we got on the show. It's dull, depressing, and lifeless, almost as much as Stephen Amell's acting. The suit that Winn made was kinda fine for a first season suit, but it's been 3 seasons and we haven't gotten a change in the suit with the exception of the weird astronaut suit for season 4, but that was barely used and only there for her stunt so her stunt double can fill in. The other two solo shows we've gotten have gotten their suits updated every single season. Supergirl has stayed the same, yet out of the 3 introductions on each solo shows, she got the worst suit. For such a hopeful and optimistic hero, why the fuck is she wearing navy blue and maroon? Plus, the stockings look so fucking stupid, as well as the weird knee flaps on her boots. Fuck all that. There have been lots of suits to choose from the comics. Most of them incredibly stupid, like the 80s headband suit or the hot pants suit from the 70s. Personally, my favorite suit is the 2000 suit, where Kara finally came back from the dead or reintroduced or whatever. However, the fact that you can see her stomach, I don't know if that's like okay for network TV, so I want to take the original 1959 suit and kind of modernize that with the 2000 suit. Sort of an amalgamation of the two. I think that would look cool. So next video we'll talk about my ideas for season 2. Also, all of this was written way before that we got the introduction of the new suit that's going to be in season 5 with the onesie suit. I already explained that initially I liked the suit, but seeing it in action in the trailer and seeing more photos for it, like set photos and other promotional photos, it really doesn't look that great, mainly because of the colors. I mean, I don't mind a onesie suit for Supergirl. That's fine. I don't really care. The reasoning for it is kind of stupid, but whatever. Do whatever you want. Just make it brighter, for fuck's sake. Make it actually blue and actually red, and not this drab, just depressing looking suit. It makes no sense. Like, okay, fine. The Flash, season 5, he finally got a comic accurate suit. For the most part. It doesn't look totally great. The helmet looks a little bit weird. And that, but like, for the most part, it's a good suit. It's a nice, bright suit. And it doesn't use the stupid pleather. And it's really, really nice. And it has color. Like, it. I've actually noticed this more and more, not just with CW shows, but with a lot of different things. Because I don't know why, but like a lot of people, a lot of producers, I should say, are like scared that these suits are gonna look campy and stupid, even though the whole basis of comics is that it's campy and stupid. I mean, Green Arrow, well, at least the CW version of Green Arrow makes sense. He's a darker Batman light character. So they gotta make him look brooding despite being green. Alright, that's fine. Flash finally got his bright suit. There have been a couple brighter suits, like the White Canary costume and that kind of thing, but for the most part, we got these dark drab suits. And that's not good. Like, Marvel does that as well, but at least with their shows, it makes sense. Daredevil's like Devil of Hell's Kitchen. Jessica Jones is just a PI, so she doesn't wear the suit like she has in the comics. And same with Iron Fist for some reason. And Luke Cage does have the bright yellow T-shirt, so that's pretty good. But I don't know. It's just I just hate this idea of like people not using bright suits. Like Joss Whedon did it with Captain America in the first Avengers movie. That was awesome. Brandon Routh with Superman Returns. That was good, despite the maroon cape and symbol. It was still a royal blue suit, and a bunch of other examples. It's just I don't know. I just hate the idea of just for the most hopeful heroes in the DC universe, Superman and Supergirl, and they look like depressing as shit, and it just annoys me. But rant over. I'll I'll try to you know keep my nerves down for the next couple of videos. But hope you enjoyed watching. I'll be back with the season 2 video.